Bills fans, what is up? Of course, you hold that pride, but that didn't happen. What a game! What a game! Um, wow, it's been a long time coming. It's been, for us Bills fans, nights like these, games like these, wins like these, for the last 2 weeks has just been a distant memory. Something that you just heard about. You heard about old Bills fans talk about. The old heads. Tonight is another first for many young Bills fans. He had a young quarterback who was under duress in the first half and just totally became a different player in the second half. Calm, cool, collected, and just took the game by the scruff of the neck and showed a star is born the last 2 weeks. To me, it was just as impressive as last week. The stats weren't there, but the way he played in the second half, after his arm getting hit in the first half, turning the ball over, Dawson Knox putting the ball on the deck, just crazy, things happened. And then that pick six really just sparked the team. Even after the missed PAT, they came out, they got the ball, they drove down and scored. Pittsburgh, they fuddled around, 3 and out. They got the ball back and scored, and they just showed why they need to be taken seriously. They need it. What a great performance in terms of the defense. That this defense really came out and played like it did last year. I mean, this is the second week in a row we've basically just gifted the other team free points within our area, right outside the red zone. This last week was right inside the 5 after a big stop. And if we don't do that, we're holding teams to 10 points, 13 points. Tonight, a free touchdown right there. That's all Pittsburgh got. Pittsburgh had 224 yards. The run defense totally stymied. The Steelers had nothing on the ground. Um, the short stuff got locked down. They had to take some deep shots, and you saw in those deep shots, Ben just, I don't know if it's not the arm, the elbow, the receivers, whatever, just couldn't drive the football. The interceptions that were made tonight were amazing plays on the ball. Levi Wallace, a guy who's been a whipping boy for Bills fans. Teron Johnson, a guy who's been a whipping boy for Bills fans. And this is what McDermott preaches: the message, the process, the right to win, the just constant improvement. And it was great to see. It was really great to see. And the way this quarterback played in that second half was just phenomenal. The way he just the composure. He didn't crumble under duress, just getting hit. And you can't teach that. You can't inject that into a quarterback. You either have it or you don't. And as a collective unit, this defense played very well, very well. I mean, they looked like last year's team. They looked like the 2000, even the 18, just the previous 3 years Bills defenses. This team is not going to be easy for anybody to play. And after that Hail Mary, this team has just steadily gotten, 3 straight wins. We could be looking at 7 straight wins. Diggs. Oh, and guess what, guys? John Brown's due to come back off IR this week. Of course you did. Of course you did. But you're a Dolphin fan, and you're gonna want that to happen. But it's that's not the way it is right now, and it's gonna be hard for a team to come to that stadium from the south and play in January weather. And haven't been living down south for so long, playing down south. It's a different animal up there. So we'll see. Um, but week 17 is going to matter for the Bills. Maybe they get a chance to host a division game. If the Bills get a chance to host the division game, I think they play because that win will matter instead of going to face KC or going on the road for the division. If they win because they have a game in hand against the Steelers have to play the Ravens again. They have to play. They have to play Cleveland week 17. So the Steelers could potentially get that third L. And if the Bills have they have a tiebreaker, that game is going to matter. That game is going to matter. Nah, Pride's a good guy, man. He's just he's a viewer. He's a good guy. He's been around a long time. I just let's just stomp out the Patriots. That's all. That game against the Patriots will be big. I don't think he'll be handing over any free wins to either one, Dolphins or Bills. So that's going to be a big game for both teams. And that's all that's going to matter. But tonight was all about that quarterback in that second half just becoming a different guy than we've seen. Last week it was balls to the wall from whistle to whistle. This week, he got tested by the number one defense in the league. He number one pass rush in the league, number one takeaway defense in the league, and he wasn't seeing ghosts. It was great to see, and it made me even more confident now than ever, even more so than last week. He faces a defense like that and is able to just fold back in, calm the game down, and just take his team and say, here we go. Let's go. And there was so many opportunities, for points. This team put up 26 points tonight. Granted, finally a defensive touchdown, a pick six bingo by Teron Johnson. The guy's been playing really, really well. It's a shame he went out with a concussion because Saran Neal came in and he didn't really get picked on or anything like that. But Teron Johnson's been playing such great football. And all those turnovers early, just the little miscues was really, really frustrating. The Knox fumble, and that was the play of the game for me. Two plays were huge in that fourth quarter. Two third down conversions, one by Isaiah McKenzie. The second one when Dawson Knox leaked out on the all out blitz. But there was so many room for points out there. If Allen takes a little bit off that deep ball to Gabe Davis, that's a touchdown. It just there it is right there. It would have been just a killer. The halftime, the defense didn't need to do anything different. They were great, and the offense just really they downloaded what they needed to do. Outside of that, the defense, they gave up the touchdown after the turnover, the Knox turnover. But outside of that, they gave up the one drive, and that was it. 1 for 10 on third down were the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1 for 10, 224 total yards. And, Allen did look, he needed to loosen up. And in that second half, he was a different quarterback. He was just a different dude. What's up, McBrizzle? Feeling great. It's so beautiful. So many firsts, so many, for you younger Bills fans, not for the older ones, you younger ones. First back-to-back double-digit winning seasons since 1998 and 1999. You guys have never seen it. Now you've seen it. Possibly, most likely, the division title. First time since 95. I think that's the last time they won the division, right? 95. Singletary and Moss, that last drive where they ran the ball and just took the game away from the Steelers, pounded them out. I was a little angry the Bills didn't run the ball earlier because I'm like, this team, Pittsburgh, is coming in. This is their third game in 12 days. It's cold. There's snow. Man, if that stadium had fans tonight, that would have been so fucking – it would have been beautiful. And I was just a little angry they didn't run the ball a little bit earlier. Because I'm like, you wear this defense down, slow their pass rush down, and they just, kept with the throwing, and ultimately they solved Pittsburgh's defense and was able to open them up. and get some plays off. And Stephon Diggs was a baller tonight. Some of those catch and runs he had were Andre Reed-esque. The one where the guy had him up, didn't finish the tackle, and he ran for an extra, like 20 yards plus. The touchdown, some of the third down conversions, and he 3 games left. 3 games left, and Allen's got the most touchdowns for any quarterback combined in Bills history with 34 rushing and passing, 28 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns. He's going to get over 4,000 yards passing. Just the only second quarterback in Bills history to do so. He used his legs when he needed to tonight. He didn't really. It was a couple of runs where I felt, they were caught off by holds, but all in all, in that second half, he just played a phenomenal football game. Just a phenomenal football game in that second half. He was a tale of two quarterbacks. Ben was the same guy he was in the first half. Allen was a different guy in the second half. 14 for 20, 100 and was it like 80 yards, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, and a team that should be 11-2, easily 10-3, and legit. And this is a legit team. No more cupcake wins. No more people. What's the national narrative going to be now? Oh, they got to win. What the Steelers are on the downside. That's why they won. Oh, the Rams weren't the same team they are now. Is that why they won? These excuses are going to have to stop from the national talking heads and start giving this team some respect, because they're for real. That was ridiculous, Hussein. That was absolutely ridiculous. It's just like, come on. Like, he clearly had the first down. Nobody touched him, and he slid. And they got it anyway on the Moss carry. But it's such a great feeling right now. It's fantastic. Our fan base deserves this. We all deserve this. How many times have we sat here after these games and just shitty loss, just no quarterback for all the years I've done these videos, and now over a decade later, we have a quarterback. We have one. We have an organization that's worth something. We have something that's tangible. We have something that's real. We have an ascending team. We have a team that, if they keep going in the trajectory that they're going, is going to be on a contender in the AFC East, the AFC, for a decade. And everybody on that defense deserves credit for all the stuff they went through early in the year, the criticism, and a lot of those games were crazy. The 2 biggest slumps of the year was a Hail Mary and the NFL jumbling the Bills' schedule for 2 straight weeks because of one team. One team's mistake cost the Bills 2 weeks of miss-ups and a Hail Mary pass. This team's just wired the right way. This coach, everybody gave him flack, when he came in with the process thing and just certain catchphrases that he used, stale milk, coach speak, this and that. After the whole Rex Ryan debacle, and this guy is really just him. On the same week, Brandon Beane gets a contract extension for his quarterback that he drafted for 2 straight weeks in prime time to go out there, and get wins, big wins. Says so much for this team, so much for this organization, and we deserve it. We deserve it. All the talk of like, oh, he's not as good. Remember the talk about Allen being not as good as Tyrod and all this. That's gone. That's gone. Allen's the best quarterback of the 2018 class. The debate is over. He's won more big games. He's played against, I could never have imagined this kid was going to turn out like this. And these national talking heads who are just losers, don't let them ruffle your feathers. The guys like him, guys like some of the PFF guys, some of the analytics guys, they're sad. They're just miserable people because they were wrong. And their ego You know, is it pride comes from fall to fall? So that's their pride fell. It fell hard, and this team is what everybody, you know, for the haters, or you know, if there are Bills haters or people that doubt, you know, doubt no more. They played real competition. They had a tough schedule, one of the toughest in the league, and they've played very well, um, very well, and they've just been just so well coached. I can't give enough credit to the coaching staff for keeping this team in line, for keeping this team focused, for the guys keeping themselves focused. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, you know, having a team that's all in on winning, all in on discipline, all in on each other. What a great thing to see. You know all that stuff, all that rhetoric that we get fed or have gotten fed in the past from prior coaches with this team is real. Basically all the stuff Mike Schopp hates. All the stuff he hates, but all the passing and stuff, and he loves that. So we agree with that. Chris Sims, a few of the other guys. One of the um, there was one guy on NFL Network that's a big Josh Allen fan. I can't think of his name right now, but we all know I've repeated myself multiple times that I wasn't I was really upset when they drafted him, and I was upset. And you know, a fellow Bills fan, Rick, you know, he got on the Instagram and told me, you know, he's our quarterback now. Let's get behind him and support him and let's go. I just remember that video. I remember sitting next to Eric, a fellow Bills fan, and just we were just miserable. And he was upset. He was like, it makes me sick to have to get excited about Tremaine Edmonds when this guy's inaccurate. And we had just gone through the stuff with EJ. But man, this kid, yeah, the Good Morning Football guy. I don't know his name. His name. He's on the Bills website sometime, but he goes on One Bills Live sometimes. But man, guys, what a great feeling! What a sigh of relief. I didn't want them to go out there and lay an egg. And the first half offensively was just terrible, but the defense, hats off, kept them in it, and they scored. Not Peter Schrager. There's another guy, Kyle Brandt. I just remembered his fucking name. I just popped into my head. Kyle Brandt, big Bills fan. Not Bills fan, not like Connor, not like the Connors guy, but he supports Allen 100%. A lot of times, yeah, it was just a hair off. I mean, Gabe Davis, the way he was found that soft spot in the back of the end zone, and Allen gave that little shoulder and brought the safety. That what a beautiful, what a beautiful, just a beautiful fake. And he's really good at that. He's really starting to master the position. And I just mentioned before that, John Brown is coming back. So this offense is going to get a boost against Denver. This offense is going to get a jump start against Denver. So you have your full complement of receivers. Knox, for all his faults, he calmed down, and he held on to the balls that were thrown to him. He drew a big pass interference that got the Bills out of a third down and got the Bills down into the red zone. They only got a field goal on that, but still it took the game away from being a one-score game to a two-score game, which was massive. And so he did a lot of good things. And we're already talking about draft here. I think the Bills need to add a playmaker, whatever Bean wants to do. I'll just shut up. He's the guy who built this thing. I'll just say whatever Bean wants to do. I mean, Knox does drive us crazy, but remember, he's a converted quarterback who only played tight end for 2 years, and I think can build his confidence because he does have a lot of ability. He's got a lot of toughness, and he held on to the balls that were thrown to him. I just think he needs to not try to go too crazy and do the leaping shit and hold on to the ball. This is his second fumble this year, but he did hold on to the ball. And our corners, they really turned around. Remember, our corners were a weak spot earlier, when Trey was out for that one game, but now Norman's there. He settled. He played a series here. Levi Wallace, after a rough game last week, and some of those throws he got beat on were just impossible throws to stop. I don't think any other corner could have stopped those throws. And he had that interception adjustment was a great adjustment. Second straight year he had an interception against Pittsburgh. Darrell Williams was great tonight. Eric brings up, NFL Sports Talk brings up, but I really think that, Knox is a guy, he has a chance. He still has a chance. Milano was played a lot more tonight. I don't know if you guys noticed. I saw him out there quite a bit, and him, now they have a nice mix of guys in there now. Another guy who held it down, AJ Klein. People with the Carolina guys, his play was bad. Talk about a guy who just turned his season from zero to hero. And you can go down the list of guys on this team, and I sound like the ultimate Bills honk right now and homer. But my God, guys, just witnessed our second double-digit winning season in over 20 years. Potentially our first division title in almost 25 years. For a lot of you guys have never seen any of this. You've never seen them have a quarterback before. And now you're seeing it, and guess what? You all deserve it. You stayed through all the hell, all the grief, all the misery, all the butt of the jokes, the Patriot beatdowns, the 7-9 seasons, the Dick Geron stale milk, all of it. And here you are. And how does it feel now? Every Sunday as a Bills fan, the feeling you guys are going to have now is different. It's the feeling, like, even the feeling I have now, I expect the Bills to win now. I don't sit around and hope for the Bills to win, like, oh man, maybe they can run the ball and get some turnovers and play keep away. No, I expect them to go out and just beat teams. I expect our quarterback to go out and be able to outperform the other quarterback. I don't remember that feeling. I had maybe a little bit of it with Flutie. I had it with Kelly. But wow, this is the first time. Enjoy it. Enjoy this feeling. Yeah, it's a shame. Could have got a bye, but it's the rules. It's the way it is. Hussein, as a 42-year-old, the glory years, it's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time, man. I'm gonna read some of the comments. Matt went to my first game as an 8-year-old in 2000, so you've never seen anything like this. And they lost that game. That was the opener. I remember that game very well. Molds caught a touchdown in that game, but Bledsoe threw 2 costly picks. Who's saying, I'm going to show your comment. Not only the youngsters are enjoying this feeling, we all love. I mean, God, yeah, man. The younger cats who don't know what this is like, this is what people talked about, this feeling with Kelly and Thurman. I mean, they don't have a Bruce Smith, but they have a Jim Kelly. They have it. And he's it. Man, this kid, he's totally just, you look at this team, don't let anybody ever tell you, I believe it. This is a top 5 team in this league. Tell me a team playing better football than the Buffalo Bills right now in the last 7 weeks. Tell me a team that's as well coached as the Buffalo Bills. Tell me a team that's more aggressive as the Buffalo Bills. That's right, Eric. You've never had this feeling. You have it now. Damager, who remembers some of those, Hussein, who remembers some of those, some of the other guys who come in. Trevor doesn't know this. Oh, you did. Oh, you watched the divisional playoff game the other night. Oh, you watched it. Yeah, I was like, you're too young to remember that, dude. You're too young. You watch it on here, but now you see it. And it was snowing. The snow was coming down. The Bills faced an old guard team with one of the old guard quarterbacks, a guy that the Bills maybe would have drafted had some shenanigans hadn't gone on behind the scenes. Big Ben would have been a Bills quarterback. And he faced the new one, and the new Big Ben is here, and his name's Josh Allen. I remember being a Bills fan, seeing and got a feeling Buffalo was going to the Super Bowl. I mean, I hope so. I hope so, man. They really let's give props to this run defense though. The last 3 weeks after facing some adversity on the grounds, they've really figured it out. Harrison Phillips was active again, and he's been playing well. Zimmer, they seem to find a nice mix of guys in there. The edge, way more athletic than Ben. You're right. The edge guys are holding it down. The linebackers are tackling well. They're not. They really made the Steelers even more one-dimensional than they are. They sat on the short stuff. Steelers, they made some plays, but all in all, this defense really looked like the unit that we're accustomed to, and it was really really nice. And you notice, if you guys remember Ray McCloud with the Bills, Matt brings up something in the room. The Bills wanted Ray McCloud to handle the ball. Do you know why? Because us Bills fans, we remember Ray's a little loose with the loaf, and he tried to make an extra play. And he got flipped, but they wanted him to handle that ball so he could fumble. And guys are really starting to figure it out right now. Epinesa has been playing well, holding the edge. Butler's been stout in there. Zimmer, Harrison, Oliver's been adding a little bit more push. He was battling a knee earlier in the year. Hughes came flying off the edge a few times. I don't know who picked up the sack for the Bills tonight, but Ben gets the ball out so goddamn quick. I'm gonna look here who got the team stats though. Overall, 224 yards for the Steelers, 177 passing yards, only 47 rushing yards. Amazing. Third down efficiency, huge. Bills, 50%. Steelers, 10%. Bills had 7 more penalties. Some of those penalties were real annoying, like taking away the and I don't know if you guys realize this because nobody's brought it up in the room. Wallace was considered down on his INT. That's why he didn't get all the field position on the return. That was really, really, really annoying. I really wanted them to have gotten that. 51-yard pick six by Teron Johnson. Matt Milano did get the sack. You're correct on that. Dougie Masters. Oh, did you get are you in the Air Force Academy yet? Great fucking movie. I feel like him right now, dude, flying. Iron Eagle. Yeah, Milano, and you notice Milano was playing free and easy with that shoulder, which was really, really encouraging to see. I don't know, like a lot of you, I'm watching him every play. I'm like, how willing is he to use his arm? And he was using it to fight off big offensive linemen. And I thought he fumbled too, Eric. I thought he fumbled. How pissed were you guys when these refs are too quick with the whistle? I do appreciate them being quick with the whistle when Teron Johnson went down, because he did leave the game with concussion, which is unfortunate because he was playing amazing football. He's been playing amazing football. And I don't know, are you guys going to root against or for Cleveland? Because if Cleveland wins, the Bills are in the playoffs. They're locked in. But they get brought back to the pack if they lose a little bit, and they have to play tough games, and they don't get to coast to the end. I want that game for them against Pittsburgh to mean something so the Bills can stay home in the division round as long as possible, unless they have to maybe go to KC for a championship game. But we're getting ahead of ourselves right now. I think the Bills can get in on their own, but if they just happen to get in there, I'm not going to complain. I just want Cleveland to have to play for something week 17 for several reasons. Wears them down, stresses them out. They're a good team. Their defense isn't as good as the Bills, but I think, their offense, the way they're built, is a really, really strong unit with their run. Yeah, we we look the part, they play the part, they act the part, and it's really, really encouraging. They're not a bunch of, you know, cupcakes out there. They play tough. They got tough when they needed to get tough late in the game. You saw Pittsburgh just kind of submitted. They didn't call their timeouts. They got run on. The Bills ran and they knew they were going to run and they were able to get yards. Zach Moss was able to, you know, just there was a couple of big runs I thought that was close to popping. There was one with Singletary where he just got caught by the legs. It was really, really frustrating. Um, yeah, I thought he fumbled, but the arm motion just going forward, the ball traveled pretty far too. It was, and they didn't throw the challenge flag. So if you throw the challenge flag, I think they maybe could have gotten it, but it didn't happen. Um, no, I think the Bills will want to win to stay home, to be able to stay home in the division. To you can host a wild card game, and then if you win that, you host a division game. So if the Bills are able to win and have the best record possible, and it's just them and and KC with the best records, they stay home until maybe they have to play KC. So that would be huge. I would want you guys to want them to be at home instead of having to go on the road. Have them get on other teams, get on a plane and travel wherever they have to travel. That I would much rather see that. I mean, I don't, Steve, I don't care about either one of those teams from a standpoint of matchups. I just want them to have to play for stuff. I want them to have to be stressed and play as much as they have to you rough up your body playing those rough games, and their games are going to matter. Like when Cleveland plays Pittsburgh late in the week 17, that game's going to matter. That game is going to matter for them. The Ravens, when they play Pittsburgh, it's going to matter for them. So they're going to have to go hard. So I want those two games to mean something for those two teams. So and the closer that they are together, the better. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's going to be tough because the way that these teams are playing, they're as good as any team in the league right now. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. If the Bills play Packers, I'm confident. If the Bills play the Saints, I'm confident. If the Bills play the Seattle Seahawks, I'm confident. If the Bills play KC, even though they lost early in the year, I feel like I'm confident. So I just feel like that we can get some, we can just go with anybody. I don't want to talk too much about I know they have. Look, the Bills put it up today. They put it up on their Instagram right after the game. I forget the quote on the banner, but the quote said it all. These guys are. Look, the job's not finished. 3 more games. The job is not finished. The job is not finished. There's 3 more games out on the plate. You can't give away wins. You can't take these wins for granted. I want to see 13-3. I want to see this team finish on a high note. I want to see this team. Just like Bill Belichick said, how you play in November is who you are. The Bills should have been 4-0 in November, and they're 2-0 in December. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That tells you all you need to know about this team. And I've done enough of these videos over the years, whether they were live or just pre-recorded. After shitty losses, I'm going to enjoy this one. And I might sound a little cocky right now. And a lot of you guys, you've taken enough shit. Enjoy it. Let people hear it. Don't hide it. Don't be humble. You've heard millions of Patriot fans, all those fake Patriot fans over the years who just rubbed it in our faces. The Jet fans for the 2009 and 2010 seasons, rubbing it in. There's a team on the rise, blah, 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 blah. losses to Pittsburgh over the years, just shitty, shitty games, unentertaining games. Rex Ryan's buffoonery, all the bullshit. And finally, I'm actually not going to be humble. Don't be. Yeah, and don't let them hear it. Let them know. Ask about Darnold. Where's Darnold at? How was his game today? 120 yards for the whole game? Okay, sounds exciting. Patriot fans, how was that performance on Monday night, huh? Thought Bill Belichick was such a genius. You could coach anybody. You could take anybody, and he'd just make them into peace, man. Have a good night. Thought he could make anybody into a Pro Bowler. What happened? They just 3 points, and Rams just had their way with you. Toyed with Scott Zolak, that piece of shit. Go listen to him. Disgusting. Ultimate Patriot honk. How does it feel, dude? Not going to the playoffs. You stay home. Sub 500 team. I want them to stay right where they are. That's exactly what I want for that team. I want that team to be perpetually 6-10, 7-9 for the rest of their life. Too good to not draft a really good young quarterback, and just right in the middle, right where the Bills were, in no man's land. What's up, Roberto? How you doing, man? Really great win, great performance in that second half. The quarterback, he arrived. He really just, the way he came out and played in that second half was so impressive, just from a composure standpoint. Getting hit, getting up, getting hit, getting up. And, all the shit that he went through, all the criticism that he consistently goes through, and to play at that level in the second half, and to calm himself down, to keep himself calm, to have his teammates rally around him and just, start attacking with digs. And they just couldn't handle him. They were down their top corner, but you know what? We were down at our number 2 receiver and have been for several weeks. Kelly was just an asshole. That's why he got criticized. It was a different era back then. There was no social media. Kelly was really, he's not the teammate. It was very much a divided locker room. I think Ballard and Kelly got into a fight because Kelly said he wasn't getting protected. Kelly would get mad at the defense, or there was, if you guys go back and look, Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith didn't talk, and then Darryl kind of got everybody together, and that's ended it, squashed it, and they all became teammates. They all went out to a team dinner. Thurman, him, Bruce, Darryl, Andre, and they all they became a team. They became a team in that 89 season, because they had been together for 2-3 years, and they hadn't won, and they finally got together, and then they started to really do some great things. Yeah, it's Josh's name is he's gonna be there for a while, and I just enjoy the ride, guys. No need to rush. Just enjoy the ride. And the defense is coming on. And I knew it. I just knew it. This team is too well coached. This personnel is too handpicked by this guy for them to be this. And it's everybody dealt with the same bag. No off season, no conditioning, no mini camps, no nothing, no rookie camp. Just a truncated 3-week, 4-week little bullshit. No preseason games, and here we go. Roll the balls out and good luck to you. And that's what happened. And, their tackling was off. Their feel was off. They added a bunch of new pieces on the defensive line. And I even forget that sometimes they had so many new faces up there. But it was really good to see a guy like Harrison Phillips finally start to figure it out and get back on the field and not be inactive. That's been really good to see. Diggs, to come in and play as well as he's played, and be connected with Allen in that way. The Bills are going to start to get guys on bargains now. You realize that, like free agents who might want to win, but want to take a little bit less to win or be in a good situation with a quarterback who they know will get them the ball. Here it is. We finally have it. We finally have a situation where a guy will take a 1 year to play with Allen. Oh, I want to play on that team. They have a good quarterback, a defensive player. Oh, I don't have to pitch shutouts every week. That quarterback's going to score us a bunch of points. There it is. It feels good. It feels good to be in this position. It feels good to not just sit around and hope that they're going to win. That, you know what, they go out there, the game is crazy, it's ugly, it's 0-0, they get a turnover, they score, and just after that, Pittsburgh, they had the one drive, they didn't do anything. They scored 26 points and they slept walk through the first half, literally slept walk through the first half offensively, which you don't want to see. You don't want to see. You want to see them, that's going to be important. I'm sure that's going to be a point of emphasis. Start fast, finish. None of these lulls. That's what good teams do. You're going to have mistakes. You're going to have issues in games. Granted, things will come up. But still, you cannot put your defense in that bind. But this defense really showed up. It was unfortunate to see the kicker miss a PAT. That really pissed me off because he's been playing really, really well. And this is his first missed kick in quite a while. But he just missed it right. He came back, hit his field goals, hit his other PAT. That was good to see. And I was glad that didn't come back to bite them in the ass. And winning the third quarter, like we won a third quarter. Remember that third quarter issue? Bills went out and they won the game in that third quarter. They really, really did. And they held it down. They calmed the game down. They took the game away. And just, it was really, really impressive. Really, really impressive to see in that second half. There was a tale of two teams. Really was. Tale of two quarterbacks in the second half. To get pick six, a drive where you have to go down there and score to keep your team in the game. Ben throws an interception because he comes off his receiver on the left side late, throws it back across. Levi makes a phenomenal play on the ball, contorting his body. Phenomenal play. And can we ever make a team? Yeah, that's a frustrating thing. Giving up those 2-point conversions is really, really frustrating because it's so deflating to not get them, just like it is to miss a PAT. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but when a point after is missed, I really get pissed. It almost takes the luster off the touchdown. It's like, even though it's 1 point, it's like, fuck. I want the 7 points. I don't want that missing point. I don't want it. I hate it. Drives me nuts. And then for them to get the 2 points, that's a field goal flip. That's a field goal flip right there. It really pisses me off. Thanks for the 15 likes on this, by the way, guys. Thanks for staying up with me. Thanks. Wow, the last 2 weeks have been tremendous. Wow. I mean, you can't even dream about weeks like this. Winning games in prime time, winning games that the nation is watching, big games. It's the last game of Sunday. People are going to talk about in the morning before Monday, the Monday night game. And after coming off last week, the way Allen played in the second half, people are going to remember that and remember how he was in the first half, totally just shut it out and came back in the second half and just went off. And next week, it's the same thing. The Bills go right back to prime time on Saturday, 4:30 in Denver. And y'all, man, I was disgusted. No, Roberto, I wanted to throw up. I wanted to throw up. You still have 2 more. You got Denver next week, and then I believe, do they play New England on Sunday night or Monday night? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But it's 15, 20 likes. Thank you guys so much. I think it depends on what New England does, but I think that they can. I think they can. They can wrap it up. If Miami loses too, I mean that's 3 games. There's nothing Miami can do. It's on Monday night. Okay, so 2 more primetime games, and depending on what happens in Week 17, maybe they get that one out there if it's for something. I don't know, but we'll all be watching it. But it looks that way now. It's really trending up. The quarterback didn't hold them back last year. He won them the game. He threw a touchdown. The defense had to get 4 turnovers against a quarterback who was, remember last year, the narrative coming out of that game is they had to beat Duck Hodges, a guy named Duck Hodges. This game, they beat a future Hall of Fame quarterback that's been to 3 Super Bowls and won 2. So what's the narrative now? The defense forced 2 turnovers, and our young quarterback went out and outplayed him in the second half. That's the narrative this year. Pluto to the moon. Pluto to the moon. Nobody can take that away from Allen. No, the Browns, Eric, the Browns need to win. If the Browns beat the Ravens, we're in the playoffs. But I want the Ravens to win because I want them to have to play each other stressfully. I want them to have to compete back and forth. Like I want the Browns to go beat Pittsburgh up or vice versa, just beat each other up. I want the games for the teams below the Bills to matter as much as possible so they're stressed. They can't rest their guys. They have to play. I want that. Yeah, Hodges did have more yards. We should be 11-2 damager. It was really, really frustrating. It's really frustrating, but this team seems to have learned. You give up a play like that, it's disgusting. It makes me sick. Makes us all sick. This team should have 11 wins and cruising, but it has 10 and they're cruising. And if this made them better, if that hail crap made it better, then I'll take it. I don't think it's a possibility, man. KC made a lot of mistakes, and they still won against a team that thrives off turnovers. I don't think their quarterback can carry a team as much as he might need to, and I think they lost Mike Gesicki today to a shoulder. His arm was being carried. It didn't look good, and if they lose that kid, their passing game is going to suffer badly because that kid is an issue. That kid is a really good tight end, and he got driven into the ground onto his shoulder. He didn't come back, and the trainers were holding his arm. And when they're holding your arm, that generally means your shoulder is out, dislocated, complete, or you broke your arm. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys saw that, but when he went down and I saw the state that he was in, and then when I saw the trainers holding his arm, I was like, okay, that guy is losing him for them is wow, that's a brutal blow. That's a brutal blow. So, and he destroyed them. But remember, Doug, the Bills didn't have their linebackers that game. It was Tyrell Dotson, and AJ Klein was not playing at the level he was playing with now. And the entire defense wasn't playing at the level it was playing now. So I'm not saying that is going to matter week 17 because we don't know who's going to get injured, who's going to be healthy. That's a little under a month away. But the 2 teams are different right now. But the one thing that's constant is this team has remained tough. Their offense is good. Even when they're shit, they're good. Like tonight, the Bills' offense was shit in the first half, pretty solid in the second half. So we got to see. We got to see how they end up. Do they have something to play for week 17? Do they want to go out there? I want to see them get 13-3. I want to see them go out there and win as much as possible. That's what I want. That's what we all want. I don't want to see them go into the playoffs. It's nice to rest guys, but all 3 units are really playing well right now. There was a couple of holes on some punt returns that have to stop because Andre Roberts is getting 10, 15 yards each punt return. I'd rather be starting drives at the 45 than the 30. And there was one where they had a block in the back and he was on Pittsburgh's side of the field or a hold, and that's just disgusting. Yeah, they just didn't resign him. Thank you for, thank you for the, for the guy. He brings out the ball. He had one fumble this year, but when he brings the ball out, I'm pretty confident. He was so close to breaking one time. It wasn't funny. So close. There was just a moment where I thought he had a crease. Some guy hit his leg and he just fucking went to the ground. I was so frustrated. I was like, fuck, I wanted him to just take one to the house. Those are exciting plays. I saw Al Edwards. I believe it was Al Edwards. It was either Russell Copeland or Al Edwards. One of the first returns I ever remember seeing. I remember Cliff Hicks was really good at returning punts for the Bills back in the day. Wore number 27, and he was really good at returning punts. A guy named Brad Lamb, white guy, wide receiver, used to return. You know who was a good punt returner, and it sucks that he didn't do it more in his career. He had one season where he just did everything. He just was an ultimate utility guy for the Bills. Steve Tasker. Steve Tasker could return punts like Steve Tasker is the most humble dude ever. He's the best special teams player to ever play the game. Hands down. And the fucking guy was a really good wide receiver. He won't tell you that, but I watched him play. And when he played wide receiver, that dude got open. That dude got open and he made plays after the catch. That guy could run. He was tough as fucking nails. And he did all kinds of shit. He did like jet sweep return. I remember that 95 season where he had to play a lot of wide receiver because Andre Reed tore his hamstring. Bill Brooks saved the season, 10 touchdowns. But Tasker, I hate hearing about how coaches talk about how special teams is so important and this and that. And a guy like him is not in the Hall of Fame. It is fucking ridiculous. He was amazing. And that season he was amazing. And he was old. He was 2 years away from retiring. No, it was 95. It was 95. I don't know, man. It's going to be tough to keep him, Roberto. It's the way Josh is looking, the way he's developing. If he stays, thank God, But the way, Josh puts on a lot of the work himself. You saw the videos that they were showing, the work he does with Jordan Palmer. You think this kid is so hungry. This kid is so dedicated. It's out of this world. And we hear these young quarterbacks, oh, we go to this quarterback and the guru and they fix us and they do this, they do that. We've seen this kid get better. Nobody can deny it. Yeah, Tasker was that kind of guy. He was more explosive than you think. Like he could run. Like he ran past people. Like I remember Tasker running past people. Like he was just not some dude who was a gunner and he was a little engine that could, but he could. I remember one time it was the 93 divisional playoff game. It was an ugly game. It was cold as fuck. Raiders in Buffalo, and Jeff Jager just shanks a kickoff off the tee. He shanks it. It's fucking fluttering. Tasker catches it because he's the outside gunner and just bolts like 30, 40 yards down the sideline, sets up the Bills for their first touchdown of the game. Because I believe at that point, the Raiders were up. The Raiders were up like 13-0 or 10-0. It was like you guys would have been pissed. It was a really, really fucking annoying. And he turned that game around with that play, just catching that ball. The Bills would have got the ball because it was at the 40. It would have went out of bounds before. But still, like he caught it, zipped down the sideline for like 30 plus. Bills had the ball inside the 20 and they scored like that. It was a quick score. The game turned on its ear right after that. The Bills got the ball back after a 3-and-out prior and went down and scored again. I believe it was a field goal. They ended up taking the lead in the second half and not looking back. But yeah, let's wait on that. If Dable leaves, he leaves. I'm sure McDermott, you see the way he operates, he'll have a guy that he'll have a list of guys, as I'm sure he does right now. He'll have a list of guys that he feels confident in and that he knows would work well and would have the same level of innovation. I have no doubt. And the way Josh is developing, I think that he'll be phenomenal. With any offensive coordinator. That's just my opinion. But everybody's going to want to, of course, that's a good thing. Daboll getting hired because Josh Allen is good. That's really good. That's a great thing. That's not a bad thing. Somebody is going to want to take some of the front office guys too. Because when you have a good young football team, people want to. That's what happens. That's what happened to the Bills front office back in the Napoleon years. They came for guys like Ferguson and, Butler got promoted, but then like AJ Smith and all those other guys, they ended up getting poached too over the years. It just happened. A guy like he's a butt of a joke now, but he's a really good scout. Guy who's the Giants GM, Gettleman, he was a Bills scout. He was on that scouting staff. A lot of those guys, you get poached. You go other places. It's just the way it works, but it's for a good reason. They're not leaving because the team is bad and they're getting fired like every other guy in the past. No, they're leaving because the team is good. And as long as they have the three-headed monster, the head coach, the GM, and the quarterback, I believe this team is set up for success for a long, long time. For a long time. And I'm sure a lot of good offensive coordinators, if they, we're just talking about a hypothetical, maybe Daboll doesn't leave. Maybe he wants to stay close to home. Maybe he doesn't get the offer that he's looking for. Maybe he doesn't get the control he's looking for. Because that can happen too. That could happen. Like, oh, I don't have control of the 53. I don't have control of, do I have a say on who I draft? Do I, all those, what type of money? What type of perks are there here? Where's my family going to live? Where am I going to go to school? We're in the middle of all this crazy bullshit. It's going to be hard to hire a head coach with all this crazy bullshit going on. It's going to be a weird year. It's going to be a very weird year for how are you going to interview guys? You got to do Zooms. You can't sit down with them. Like, he might be able to impress a team in a sit-down meeting, but on a Zoom meeting, he's not going to be able to wow them. His personality is not going to show. Look what's going to happen during all these scouting things. They're just Zooming. That's true. The Pagulas might say, you know what? He's going to get a pay raise. Let's just put it that way. No matter what, he's getting a pay raise, which he deserves. I mean, no doubt about it. Or they're trying to take, the recipe to your secret hot sauce. That's why they start hiring your people. They want a little bit of what you have, but they're not going to get McDermott. They're not getting Bean, and they're not getting Allen. So good luck. Yeah, I mean, if he stays, it's a year-to-year thing. Like, because if the team continues to go this way, and they're now in that mix of double-digit wins, playoffs, he'll get hired. Yeah, Matt Ramius is happy because he gets treats after every Bills win. So if the Bills score a touchdown, he gets 3. If they get a field goal, he gets 1. And if they win, he gets 5. So he cleaned up and he's happy. So he's up chilling. He knows when the Bills are on. When Dawson Knox fumbled and I just went like this, I just dropped my head and put my head in my hands. He ran under the bed. He literally ran under the bed, and then he came out like a minute or two later and laid on my bed. And when Taron Johnson had the pick 6 and I jumped up, he got excited. It feels good right now, guys, but this team has 3 games. This team has 3 games left that are important. But soak this in. Really soak this in. Remember the narrative last year. Bills were in Pittsburgh, Renegade Drive, had to beat Duck Hodges, blah, 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 blah. This year is completely different. And enjoy this. Yeah, I saw what he said. The guy's an asshole. Well, the guy is an asshole, Bonzolo. They're just dudes that they just get on TV. They're gonna go against the narrative. They're gonna say whatever they're gonna say. They're gonna stick to their bullshit and just trying to get them to change their mind. Forget about it. Whatever their opinion of him, we have our opinion, and we know that this kid is legit and he's good and he's coming. So don't ignore them. Yeah, man. Well, it's going to come for the Broncos too. It's going to come for them because they have to play a game. I don't know. Were they home today? Let me know if I'm going to try to look if they were home or away because I know they won. They beat Carolina, and Drew Lock played pretty well. They're 5-8 right now. They played a 4-9 football team. Um, Let me see some of the highlights of the game because I don't even know if they were on the road or if they were away. Maybe you guys could tell me in the room. They were in Carolina. Okay, so they have to travel back home. That's good. That's good. That's all I wanted to know. If they had, so they have to travel back home and they have to reset after a win. They have a good pass rush, but I don't think they don't have Von Miller. Bradley Chubb's decent. They don't have AJ Boy. He's out, suspended. He's their top corner. I think Brian Callahan. I don't know if he's still banged up. I don't know what his injury is, but he's their slot corner that they paid a lot of money for from Chicago a year ago. So they have their injuries. Bills get John Brown back. Hopefully this week he's scheduled to come off IR. Um, we'll see what Toronto. I'm concerned about Tyron Johnson. The way he played tonight, he was amazing. He really turned the game around. To me, he's an unheralded MVP of the game because he turned the game around and the whole game, like as bad as the Bills played, for that pick six, the way he drove on the ball, and he just the Bills were flat and he just gave them a lifeline and they just never let it go once he gave it to them. Yeah, they have a really young receiving core too. An old veteran group like this. Like the Bills played a young receiving core tonight. Deontay Johnson, Claypool, who didn't burn the Bills at all. I think he had one catch. Um, who else do they have? Oh, Juju. Juju got him a couple of times. Washington got him for the touchdown, but they have Junie, they have Hamler, and Tim Patrick, tall guy. So they have guys that a fan, but they have a young quarterback that's not Big Ben, that is not as composed. Even though Ben, wasn't himself, wasn't good tonight. Bill's defense was the reason. So they're gonna, that kid's gonna face some interesting looks. No Cortland Sutton too. They're going to face some interesting looks. That kid's going to see a lot of things he hasn't seen against, I'm sure McDermott and Frazier are going to cook something up sweet for him that he's not going to have seen, that he's not going to know what to do. I mean, they might bait him into some traps, make some mistakes. This is the second straight week. The Bills, 2 picks. I think the prior week they had 3 straight games with an interception. Oh no, shit! This is 4 straight games with an interception, I believe. They might have had one prior because I know Poyer got the tip up when Fitzgerald dropped it against Arizona. Yeah, Wallace has been playing good, man. He's been playing solid. I mean, he's a guy that you always feel like he can get better. We could always use an upgrade, but the kid plays hard. He really does play hard. And he's you can't deny that. The kid just constantly comes back. I mean, last year the same thing happened. He had a rough spot after Cleveland. He came back and he played tough, and you really didn't hear about him. He was injured for the playoff game though, which sucks. But I hope that they can get Teron back on the field. If not, it's not going to kill him. But when a young player like him is playing really, really good, you want to just keep that momentum going. So hopefully he can clear concussion protocol and be back. But Saturday, they have to travel on Friday. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. Like the team is probably not going to have much practice this week. They're probably going to have 2 days of real serious practice. a quick walkthrough before they get on the plane to Denver, and then that's it. And then you got to factor in they're playing in elevation too. So there's that, and guys react differently to that. Yeah, they probably will hold him out. If he clears, we'll know by like Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll know because he'll be out on the practice field in some capacity. If he's not out on the practice field, then okay, he's not playing Saturday. But if he's out on the practice field, that means he's in stage 4. Stage 4 is like you can do athletic stuff. The 5 is when you clear it and you can go play in a game. So he looked alert. He looked responsive. I remember when he was on the ground laying down, like he was like telling the guys like, just like when Dawson got the stinger. Dawson was like, fuck. You know, it looked bad, but he went to the sideline. He was adjusting his pads. He came back in, you know, didn't have any drops. He drew a big pass interference, got a big 3rd down conversion. So hopefully that boosts his confidence. And you get John Brown back, you open up the field a little bit more, give his, you know, let's see what his legs look like now. You got a chance to heal up the knee. You know, it was a high ankle, but Bills reporter John Scott put some videos on Twitter, and I saw, you know, we all saw, if you go watch him, he was running and he looked good. You know, he looked, you know, and he's had an extra week. I don't know. You know, if he's good to go, man, bring him up. If he's good to go, let's go, man. Let's play. You know, same thing with Klein. Klein bought you some time. He bought you some time with Milano's injury. Gabe Davis, all the group of guys has bought us time with Brown. If he's ready to come back, he's ready to come back. So there's no use. Now you can spot him though. You don't have to, you know, have him out there every play. Have different packages, personnel groups. You don't have to be running them on goes 50 times a game. No, you have play him 25 plays, 30 plays. That's all. You know, that's depending on the score. Sometimes score effect changes personnel too. But guys, it's been over an hour. It's almost 2 a.m. Thank you so much. You guys are going to sleep amazing tonight. Victory Mondays right now. Let's see. Let's see what happens. We're going to enjoy this week though. Victory Monday. 10 wins, second time in as many years, for the first time in over 20 years. Savor it, enjoy it, revel in it. It feels good. Don't let anybody try to kill your vibe, kill your mojo. Don't let anybody tell you that this quarterback is not good, that this team is not for real, because they are. Have a great night, guys. Go Bills. Let's go get number 11 next week in front of a national audience. Let's let everybody know this team don't take shit for granted. They don't rest on their laurels, and they're about that. They're about that life. Go Bills. Love you guys. What are you doing, Bubby? Come on.